Hello, good morning, and good afternoon for some of you already. Welcome to today's webinar. We are really delighted to have you here, and we appreciate your time and interest in partnering with Homelike. Before we begin, I would like to introduce you a couple of guidelines so we can make sure that we run the webinar smoothly. And I would also like to make you aware that the session is being recorded. Guidelines. The first one is a request, and I will appreciate if everyone could stay in silent mode throughout the presentation. To turn off your microphone, you simply have to check on the lower part of your screen. You will see the icon with the shape of a microphone. Click in, and you are going to turn the sound off. The second one is about questions. We are going to be conducting a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. And if you would like to ask anything or have any doubts, please feel free to post your questions on the Q&A activities on Google Meets. If you see on the lower part of your screen, again, on Google Meets, you have the second icon from right to left that is a triangular shape that has 3 different shapes within. You click there, and then you can select Q&As. And there you can post all the questions that you have, all the doubts that you would like to ask, and also you can see what questions have been posted already for other attendees, and you can like the questions that relate to similar questions that you had. So that's going to be giving us greater insights on how to prioritize and answer the most frequently asked questions first. And finally, if you would prefer to speak with us directly after the event, please feel free to reach out. If you don't have our contact details yet, that you should, but if you don't, we are going to be sharing them later on. Let me introduce ourselves. My colleague Sandra Deverell and I are going to be presenting this webinar. Sandra is based in Barcelona. She has been working for Homelike for over 4 years in different roles, and she is currently looking after the international expansion beyond Europe. My name is Marcela, and many of you already know me. I am based in London, and I have been transferred from Q onto Homelike. My current role is looking after the international expansion within Europe. Okay, before we officially start with the presentation, I would like to walk you through the agenda. This is not only the content of what we're going to be presenting, but it also contains the key messages that we would love you to have clarity on once we finish presenting. These points are: what is Homelike? The second one is what we have called the new era, the merger between both companies, Q and Homelike. Finally, plan and forecast, and quite importantly, also how to onboard on Homelike if you are not there just yet. And we are going to finalize with questions and answers. Sandra will now explain what is Homelike. I really hope that you enjoyed and find this webinar informative. This is our main purpose. Sandra, all yours.
Thank you, Marcela, and welcome everybody. I'm happy to have you all here, and I hope this event is going to help you understand what we are currently doing, how we're growing, what Homelike is for suppliers that haven't collaborated with us until now. And that's exactly the part we're going to start with now. So what is Homelike? Some of you are already collaborating with us, some of you don't, and I would like to introduce briefly what we are doing. So this is our mission: to become the world's largest midterm apartment platform. We focus on tech-enabled solutions, simple processes, and trustworthiness. And to give you a little bit more insight, we attend B2C customers, so private customers who come directly to our platform. We also attend B2B customers that might request in an offline way certain apartments from us, bookings, and we adapt to their needs and supply them with solutions. We have clients that work on projects, they need relocation, they might be digital nomads, a concept that more and more appears on our platform. Workation is another of those words that is used recently quite a lot. We have new hires, companies relocating their employees, and also a lot of corporate travel. So that's our niche. We also focus on a minimum 1 month stay. And we have an average of 3 months booking, 4 months bookings, depending on the countries we operate in. Currently, Homelike let's say, until before the merger, Homelike focused on Europe and the US. We have a presence as well in New York. And so that would be 10 countries that we have been operating in since, but this is going to increase now to 72, if I'm not mistaken. So anyhow, a lot more. So it would be the whole of Europe, and it will also be most of the key locations around the world that have been requested, especially through Q Apartments. Yeah, so our niche is long stay, serviced apartments, co-livings as well on the supplier side. And we have currently over 100,000 units or apartments on our platform. Next, a little timeline of Homelike to understand what we've been achieving so far, our journey basically. So the idea started in 2014. We had two founders starting off in Germany. And 2015, we actually went live in the GSA region, Germany, Austria, Switzerland, with around 1,000 apartments on our platform. We quickly grew to 40,000 apartments on the platform in 2017, opening up more countries in the UK, and then 2019 already more markets: Netherlands, Belgium, France, also Spain, with an office actually in Barcelona as well. 2021, we opened up also the US market, and we started working remotely and therefore activating a lot of people around the world to attract talent as well. 2022, we had a change in leadership. So now we have Johannes and Philip leading our companies, sharing the position of CEO. Johannes coming from the industry as well, Trivago. He knows very well what is needed in this for online platforms and for its success. Philip coming from another big company, HNS, that is also, he's also quite established already in this sector. And yes, and then 2023, in May, we merged with Q Apartments, which is what we're going to focus on today. But before, let's go a little bit more into detail what Homelike is. So Homelike found the following challenges in the market, and they are still there today. People change the way they work and book apartments and view apartments as well, especially during Corona. And it was quite, or it can still be, depending on some regions, quite an offline or painful way of making bookings. So there was a lack of technology and solutions, a lack of trust from the customers, as they cannot really identify who's behind it. There was no way of establishing a verified or trusted supplier. Low inventory quality was an issue, so no filtered or standardized apartments, no simple online and instant booking methods, or price transparency. So our customers are looking for simple, trustworthy, digital, especially solutions, and suppliers want qualitatively, like high quality tenants, high occupancy rates, and a lean process. So this is what Homelike is aiming for and is basically focusing on. So we want to have a tech-enabled experience with exceptional value for both guests and suppliers. And we are combining for tenants to have access to a large database and in an online way, an instant way, and for suppliers to have a platform where demand is centralized and they can address issues like tenant profiling, listing the properties, availability management automation, PMS systems and channel manager integrations, and so on and so on. So looking at our product journey a little bit to give you an idea how it works and what it is like to book with Homelike. So a tenant might search on our platform for a certain city, then selects within the city the filtered apartments. There's various filters that can be selected, proceeds to requesting or instantly booking. There are different ways of booking, which I will come to in a minute. And then there's the after sales experience, where we have support teams actually already through the booking process, but also afterwards through our platform, so through the dashboard of each tenant. He can then manage or even cancel or modify his booking, but he can also contact our customer support team or our inbound sales team for further questions. And then we basically manage through the dashboard the whole experience. Here, the current booking modes, very briefly, introducing how you can receive bookings or requests through our platform. First mode, let's say the most traditional one, would be the request mode, where a request of a possible guest is sent via the platform to you, to our suppliers. The supplier then receives an email or a notification on his mobile, proceeds to approval, and only once approved, the tenant can then make the payment so that the apartment is booked. And then move-in follows, and payout, which is the first month's rent, is handled throughout our platform. Every following month would be directly through you. It is different with B2B bookings, but let's say the traditional, the standardized way would be that. Second mode would be soft booking, which is something that we have recently introduced and that I am quite a big fan of. It shortens the request process, especially on the supplier side. So you still receive a request. You look at the tenant, at the dates, you confirm, but by confirming, the booking already proceeds to payment without the tenant having to enter his credit card details, because he has done that when he has done the request. So it is much more straightforward. And when you see a soft booking sign or the name soft booking within the requests, you know that the tenant has already put down his payment details, and with your approval, you know this booking can be confirmed and closed. Or instant booking, where you do not receive a request and you automate and say, my dates are up to date. I have maybe various units behind one property group. I know I will have this apartment available. I want to go straight through to the booking. So the tenant does not send a request. He simply pays and the booking is closed. These would be the three booking modes we currently have. Besides that, we have, when we work with B2B clients, an offline process that happens in the back end, where we research our database, and then we can also go through the online mode once the corporate client has decided which apartments he wants to select. And now we already come to the second part. I will hand over to Marcella again, who will explain to you what has happened in May this year that we're also very excited about, and what the advantages are, basically the strengths that we're combining here.
Thank you so much, Sandra. Welcome again, and hello to those ones who joined after the starting of this session. Before we start with the second part, I would like just to remind you that you can post any questions that you may have in the Q&As feature of Google Meets. If you check on the lower part of your screen, the second icon that has a triangular shape, you can click there and you will access to the Q&As feature. You can like as well any questions that other people have already asked. Okay, let's go. What is the new era? Every story has a beginning, and in this case, it started all a couple of months ago in May. It was announced within all the industry the merger between two companies, Q Global Network, part of a company called Q International Group Limited, and Homelike. With this strategic action, we are bringing the best of both worlds together, of two worlds together, this is what the graphic that you have in front of you is trying to represent. The moment when synergies of both companies come together. Let's see the graphic in more detail. If you can see in blue, you have what Homelike is bringing with its particular strengths. Let's explore the strengths. Technology. Sandra has explained in more detail what we mean by technology here. Data, and surely you will agree with me that we are in the era of data, that is a key element that, added to experience, empowers us on decision making. Homelike has also access to a growing population within the B2C market. Sandra has rightly mentioned it, expats and digital nomads. And I would like to make a pause here because I think that you are going to find very useful some insights that I have found and I have been researching on about the digital nomad population. The total worldwide population nowadays of digital nomads is estimated in 35 million people. 35 million. It's an interesting information, and the demographics show that there is a male and female fair spread with 50% share each. And even more interestingly, you will find that 46% of this total population work from apartments or hostels. And their professions are variable, but there is big predominance in fields such as computer sciences, writing, design, e-commerce, and marketing. Now let's go more locally. If we think about Europe, the digital nomad population, it has already reached 27% of the global share. This means nearly 9.5 million people. This amount is greater to the total population of countries like Austria or Portugal or even the United Arab Emirates. Let's go back to the graphic that you have in front of you. Homelike has also introduced alternative solutions, such as co-living. If we go to the red part, in the case of Q, what is it bringing to the table? A summary of the strengths that Q is bringing to the table is access to B2B clients, including relocation management companies and direct corporates. We are also bringing corporate readiness and understanding. And know-how in this arena, plus a global footprint of supply and an important amount of supplier relationships within the industry. If we can go to the next slide, please. I'm going to be explaining you what is currently happening and what is work in progress with us. Homelike is the brand. What does this mean? Q and Homelike have merged and will continue under the Homelike brand and platform going forward. So Homelike is going to be the name we all work and operate from, and the platform, the unique platform, is going to be Homelike in the near future. We are going to be exploring that in a bit. Also, let's talk about industry-leading technology. We said already the best of both companies have come together, client and global supply portfolio from Q, and industry-leading technology and experience for supply and demand from Homelike. Also, B2C booking access. All those suppliers who were already partnering with Q can now access direct bookings from expats, digital nomads, and other populations that tend to book directly. You will get support with the transition. Every one of you are going to be assigned to an account manager who is going to be responsible for looking after our partnership. And finally, here I want to emphasize something quite important. B2B business as usual. We have received so many questions and doubts about what is it going to happen with B2B. The demand continues as usual. Slowly, we are going to be moving everything to the Homelike platform. We don't want to disrupt this activity. We are working on consolidating the supply first, and once this is done, then the next step is going to hit. Perfect. Let's talk now about you and how this merger benefits you. We want you to feel the benefit and you to bring benefits to the organizations you represent. And here we are going to be summarizing this in 3 key pillars. More bookings, access to more bookings, quite important one. There is going to be a more streamlined and faster B2B booking experience. There is going to be also more visibility from corporates to our supply. There is no need going forward of someone filtering the supply. For the corporates, they can access to the entire pool of options and possibilities. We together are going to be able to access to global RFPs. And finally, direct bookings from the segments that we have mentioned before that tend to book directly, expats, digital nomads, and also self-booking tools. B2B and B2C coming together. So this is creating a bigger ecosystem. In the second key pillar, you will see in the middle, the simplicity, safety, and flexibility that Homelike as a platform offers. It is easy to use for all the parties involved. There is greater transparency. Clients and guests can access to full information of a greater pool of supply and also more details. It is more focused on catering real needs. Homelike offers instant booking solutions, saving invaluable waiting time and an automated availability management, of course. Let's talk about the last key pillar that is not the least important, as important. Market and data insights. Many of you have been checking the names once again of people in the webinar, and many of you are coming from sales teams, commercial teams, and I'm sure that you are going to value market and data insights. And this includes data trends as well. In terms of support, there is not going to be only client support. There is going to be also support during the booking process for both B2B and B2C, and there is going to be account management support. So all the parties involved in this new ecosystem are going to be supported by different teams within Homelike. Challenges. Let me explain now what were the challenges that Homelike was facing before the fusion. And this is going to be summarized in two. The first one is access to to corporate bookings, and the second one is the global presence. Before I go granular explaining how we are overcoming these challenges, let me give you some context. Yeah, you can go to the next slide. Thank you. To give some context about the reasons why we believe that this fusion is a win-win, let me explain and refresh again what Q brings to the table on the B2B side. First, extensive network of corporates who have partnered with Q for years. Corporates and relocation management companies. Second one, experience and know-how in payment terms, deposit handling, and a different booking process that is enhanced, and it's focused on the client needs, B2B and B2C client needs. Also, worldwide presence that allows Homelike to compete in global RFPs and to become a single point of contact for multiple destinations. And finally, knowledge on what corporates needs in terms of data and reporting. Okay, let's look at the future now, what we have called the way forward. We are going to be exploring now each one of the challenges that Homelike was facing and how we believe we are overcoming them with the merger. Let's discuss first about corporate bookings. You have a graphic in front of you that summarizes how digitalizing the B2B booking experience is going to improve possibilities of conversion. We start by sourcing. There is going to be an increased portfolio matching B2B requirements more accurately, and it's going to really take into consideration real guest needs. Let's go to the second part, search, book, and stay phases of the booking process. B2B product features, including travel policy, and there is going to be an integration and city caps within the platform. There is going to be a customer-specific setup that will allow, for instance, to display all the company's locations in a map, so it's easy and a more friendly experience to book. Also, a deposit-free solution that is going to be via company guarantee. A best-in-class customer service to assist with any problem during the guest stay. And also, Homelike is going to allow payment terms, and surely you will agree with me that this is one of the key differences between both types of bookings, and it depends on the market type. And finally, there is going to be a recurrent payment solution for those bookings that are longer to a month with only one centralized payment that is going to be going through Homelike platform. What happened with the last part? Post-trip follow-up. There is going to be a centralized invoice collection and handling and reporting on insights about costs and travel trends. What this graphic means is that we are closing the circle. We are involving all the stakeholders within your organizations in one account, one dashboard. Let's explore now the second one of the challenges about global presence. And here you have a very nice map that has 3 different colors. Different colors show different phases. Blue is where Homelike currently operates on the B2C market. The green one is our work in progress, and the gray one is phase 2, the future. Let's talk about where Homelike is at the moment. New York and 9 European countries. Which are these? Germany, Switzerland, Austria, Belgium, the Netherlands, France, Spain, UK, and Ireland. What happens to phase 1? This is work in progress. So this is work that we are focusing on at the moment. And we estimate that this phase is going to last at least until the end of this year, the last quarter. You have 2 different columns there. The first one is Europe, and the second one is beyond Europe. What is happening in Europe? There are expansion plans. Imminently, Italy and Portugal coming live for B2C bookings. Denmark and Luxembourg are going to be following after. I have seen many of you represent organizations that have supply in these destinations. So I think that it's a quite nice announcement that things are going to be moving into B2C very soon. What is happening beyond Europe? There is a big progress and these conversations ongoing to onboard different suppliers in the following destinations: Mexico, rest of USA, Brazil, the Emirates, and Thailand. Talking about the phase 2, we are talking about a phase that we estimate is going to start in Q1 next year. We are going to be working for the rest of Europe, onboarding the rest of Europe to give real life availability, real life options to B2C clients in Europe, rest of the Americas. And also there is going to be a big focus on onboarding business travel cities within APAC and EMEA. Now, Sandra is going to explain about the plans and forecasts that we have, and more importantly, how to onboard you on Homelike if you are not there just yet.
Thank you, Marcela. I will take over again. First of all, I want you to have a quick look at this graph, which demonstrates how and when we are planning to move things over. So we are currently in July, well, actually already in September, in August of 2023. So we have started already to migrate certain accounts and bookings, but currently we are working on implementing certain tools to make the B2B process that currently is taking place within Q Apartments when you receive a request and a booking, to make it adapted to Homelike and integrate what is needed into our online platform. So therefore, the first phase at the moment is integrating your supply. So if you have been a Q supplier and you are in the database already, you will migrate with that data into Homelike. And slowly you can see here that we then move the Q bookings towards the Homelike bookings. And Homelike will have more and more product features ready to be able to take over beginning of next year completely and compensate what is coming in on the B2B level within the Homelike platform. Secondly, the timeline in more detail, so you understand what phases we're in and how you can proceed. right now, we have started already onboardings within Homelike or for Homelike of currently suppliers that are outside of the Homelike platform. So we have contacted you most likely already if you have only been working with Q Apartments. And yeah, we will explain briefly as well how the onboarding process will work. But we are already creating accounts for you and making sure your data is visible within Homelike, especially your properties. And then we verify listings, and once verified, no matter if those listings are then online or offline, you are visible to the Homelike database and therefore eligible as well for the B2B bookings on both ends, on Homelike and on Q Apartments side. And in the next 6 months, like already mentioned, we're gradually opening up new Q Apartment countries we don't have yet integrated in Homelike, starting with Europe, which is already in place, going internationally as well, globally. We are currently working on integrating the currencies, the countries, so that once a country is launched, we can also function with all the processes, especially payments and so on, which are big topics in the background. But you will be notified, and we will make sure to approach you once the country is live. The countries in Europe shouldn't be a problem, especially the ones integrated within the EU and the euro currency. And other countries that Homelike hasn't been operative in are following. And like I said, you will be notified. Yeah, the B2B process, we already spoke about it, will be adapted to the QGN requirements. So we adapt within Homelike all the needs so that you hopefully do not feel the difference, or at least this is where what we're aiming at. We will optimize to the level that this integration will be like a huge advantage to you and not missing out on any advantages you had with the offline process through Q. Towards Q1 2024, we then have the goal to have all countries live and integrated and have all bookings, also the B2B bookings that are currently still going through the queue process, would be going through Homelike then. You would by then have your account, would understand how to receive a request, make a proposal, and close a booking. And in the year further ahead, 2024, we aim to have the merger completely finished and receive, so you can receive B2B bookings, which would be offline requests, but also B2C bookings through our online channels, depending on the booking modes you can accept or not, in a fully automated workflow. And here, a guideline on how to onboard. So this would be the process for suppliers that have not yet been listed on our Homelike platform. So QGN suppliers that are currently having an account and visibility, or the properties uploaded in Q Apartments systems, we would, as you can see here in point 1, migrate the data into Homelike, as everything will move over from Q Apartments into Homelike, so that you keep receiving requests and bookings. But sooner or later, once everything has been migrated and completed, it would be through the Homelike dashboard, through the Homelike access you will receive or already have. And the second step would be, once you have an account linked to an email address and you get a password, then we would ask you to complete the information in your account. In point 2 here, you can see it's the missing information in most cases is then the general rental agreement or contract, or even simply terms and conditions that you would upload here, so our clients can access this information if they decide to book with you. You would have to upload a billing address and a bank account. So payments going through the platform can then be transferred to you. Point 3 would be, once the basic account is set up, you complete the listing information of your individual apartments you want to upload. Here we do assist depending on the amounts you have to basically upload here. There's automated ways of supporting you so that the workload is not so much, and we do what we can here. Maybe you are even integrated with a channel manager, and then we can retrieve the information through the channel manager in a convenient way, so you don't have to do a lot of manual work, but make sure you inquire with us how we can best support you here. And point 4 would be, we verify your listings. This means once the listings have been completed by you, we make sure they apply to our standards. This is exactly what we mentioned before, to unify, to find a way of qualifying the data that is presented, especially regarding guest expectations, so everything is aligned and clearly programmed. And the 5th point here would be, once the listings are verified, they are then available for our online supply or our offline activities, which is finding suitable apartments for big company clients. And so both ways you can then be visible and operate. And the level of the integration you want to have with us can also be discussed with us. So obviously, you have a great advantage in being on our platform, being visible online and bookable, even instantly bookable, if that's an option for you. So the process is much more automated and you have much less work to do. And we will assist you in getting there. Or you can simply have a presence so you can adapt to maybe bigger amounts of bookings at a time and make special price arrangements and or special rates regarding the size or how big the booking is that is coming in for you. If you are already working with Homelike and you have also been collaborating with Q Apartments, we would simply make sure all your supply that was on Q Apartments is also visible on Homelike. So we would add any missing listings. We go through the verification progress again, and then you are eligible throughout Homelike as you're already integrated, and steps like account verification or contract uploading has already been completed. Right, so here we are actually already at the end of our presentation, and we are left with the Q&A session. First of all, mentioning that we are your points of contact here. Marcella, responsible for any European supply and requests and operations you might have here, and myself for outside Europe, any other countries, and the expansion we have into other areas. And we're very happy to assist you if you had any questions here or anything isn't clear. I invite you to ask now. Maybe you have a concrete question about something. We can go back to a slide if you wish and clarify anything you would like to know. So let's open the Q&A session. You can simply post here in the chat, or if you want, raise your voice and unmute yourself, and we are happy to answer your questions. Yes, please, Louise.
Hi, thanks for the presentation, Marcella and Sandra. Now, Marcella would know what we're like here at Your Home from Home. It's quite difficult for us with platforms and that like this, and Marcella knows kind of very quickly, we have kind of 12 different locations. Like I'm just kind of there while the presentation was going on, like at one location, we can have 4 different types of apartments. So we can't as such, the loading is a nightmare for a platform then, because you're putting up, it probably, you know, it takes about 40 different apartments to put up. The other thing with us as well, it has to be request only. And it comes to us, like Marcella knows the way the girls do it at Q. They come and ask, you know, have you got a one bed for these dates? And I come back with the option. Then they come back to us and say, okay, Louise, the guest wants to book. Is that still available? Because there could be a time lag of an hour. It could be 24 hours. And in that time, obviously that apartment can be obviously offered out to another agent. And we can't, unfortunately, have any kind of instant booking or anything like that. So I'm not sure how we're going to get around that.
There are ways. We are already
Mm.
operating with B2B requests. And well, first of all, uploading, not a problem. We assist you with this, right? So we work with, like I said, channel manager integrations. We also have a team that helps creating those listings for you if the load is simply too much. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're obviously interested to get you onboarded as quickly as we can, and prioritizing needs, we will be there for you as well with this. So that's not an issue. And regarding the bookings or the request process, right? The back and forth would be automated. So you see in an automated way what is requested, and we would already request certain apartments we then have visibility for, right? So we would see the availabilities you have, because they would be updated and automated. And also we help with this. So we can put an icon in, we can connect through a channel manager, and like that, we can see you. We then send you a request. It doesn't have to be instantly bookable. That's why we have different modes. And then you come back to us and say, this yes, this no, this is what we can do. And we arrange the package for the customer so that everyone is happy, basically.
Well, as Marcella knows with us, we're a team of two. And it's very hard. Like, we just don't have the resources or the time to go in and keep updating everything. That's why we have to do it kind of on request. And you're saying it's going to be automated. Great, fantastic, but we're not 24/7. So when we leave here at 6 o'clock, say on a Friday, and we're not back till Monday, what happens then? Like, I don't want to sound negative, but I'm just trying to go through all the scenarios for us. I mean, this morning I'm here on my own. I've had to, the MD has had to take the phone, you know, things like that.
Don't worry. We will take this conversation offline, because this is what we're already doing. Okay, so don't worry. We already operate in this way, and there are basically ways that we can make sure to operate with you, and it doesn't have to be instantly bookable, right? So that's why we're talking about online presence and offline presence. So we have visibility on what you have to offer, but then we come back to you to request. And if it's not immediate, then we have to wait, or we go to another supplier that can reply immediately. Okay.
But that's the problem, you see. Well, if you've answered the question for me. You were saying, oh, we just go to another supplier. I mean, that's not fair to us. I mean, Q wouldn't do that on us.
Louise,
You know,
I don't
and
think
now moving to this, it's like, oh, we'll just go to another supplier if you don't answer. We can't be 24/7. We're not a big organization.
We're not asking.
I don't think possibly there is some misunderstanding. Nobody is expecting you to operate 24/7. Many of the companies that are in this webinar and many of the companies that are already on Homelike don't operate 24/7. Let's touch base on this. Let's identify the challenges offline, and we are going to be working on it. We don't expect you guys to be overnight operating on Homelike with instant booking options. No, there are different options for you guys to explore. We are going to be exploring, and we are going to be answering it and addressing any of the challenges that you may have based on the specific challenges. So we know each other, and I hope that I just call to your trust, because really we don't expect miracles to happen. We are here to support you and to demonstrate you that there is value added with the partnership with Homelike.
Okay, it's just we found with others, and they've now come back to doing it without being on a platform. Sorry, I know there's other people want to get in, because they found that the kind of the relationship, there is no relationship when you do this. And a few others have come back and said, right, we're not doing on a platform anymore because it's just not happening. But anyway, we need to move
No,
forward.
maybe just to like
Yeah.
our goal is to combine strengths, not to take away what
Yeah.
has been there, right? So we value very much, and that's why we point out things like experience with corporate travel. And we know we will have challenges in automating everything, but we automate at a speed and at a level where we're not losing out on any of the strengths that Q has been delivering on, right? You're pointing out one very important point here, which is relationship management, and you will still have this relationship. It's not going to disappear. This automation doesn't mean we're not available. You have an account manager. We have a B2B team who handles requests, right? So there are people behind it, and that will continue working in the same way. We will make sure we have everything, or at least everything as much as we can integrated, so that we can go online. If we can't, we operate like we do right now in an offline stage to make sure we don't lose out on anything we currently have in place.
Okay, sure. I'll connect with Marcella
Sure.
as well, and because I know others want to get in. Thanks for that.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Lisa.
much. We have a couple of questions on the Q&A's activities, two of them coming from Rajneesh. Hi, Rajneesh. Happy to have you here for NOM. Yeah, it's me, your main point of contact. So I remain your main point of contact. We are going to be creating the account. I will be contacting you after the session to arrange a call and discuss with you and the rest of the Fornom team how we can get you guys onboarded. As you have seen on the expansion plans, Denmark is coming quite soon in terms of Nordics and Scandinavia, but you guys you can already onboard and be offline until we launch the country as such. So do not worry. We are going to be discussing and we are going to be addressing what the specific needs are in terms of Fornom. You are a very big company covering lots of destinations. So we are going to be exploring what is going to be the best solution for you guys to have the account created.
Thank you.
I will touch base with you.
Thank you, Marcella.
And the next question, hi, Joanna, lovely to have you here. It's about referral fee work. I imagine, Joanna, that you mean you're referring to commission, right? I don't know if you can unmute yourself to just confirm.
Hi, Marcella. Thank you for inviting me.
Hola.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Yes, exactly. I mean, all agents and all platforms work with some sort of commission or referral. You know, loved babies have different names. So I never heard you talk about that, how that's going to work. Maybe I missed something, but
there is indeed a commission, and well, it is agreed, negotiated as with any relationship. And if you want, when we explore the possibility of getting you guys as moving within the platform, we can discuss that, and I can showcase you the dashboard so you can see where you can see the information that is required for onboarding. We can discuss the commission, and you are going to be able to see and showcase it to the rest of the team what the commission is going to be looking like.
okay. Great, thanks.
Amazing.
Gracias.
A ti? More questions? Anyone? No questions? Okay. Seems that things are more or less clear. We are going to be touching base to those people who need further clarifications. Please reach out. We know each other, and if we don't know each other yet, here are our contacts. We are going to be delighted to walk you through and provide all the support that you may need during the onboarding process.
Well, we hope this webinar has been useful to you. Oh, yes, there was another question. Is that right? Another hand raised, or was it just a clapping?
I think it was a clapping.
Okay, great. Okay, good. I hope it has been useful. You can get the recording as well from us, or the presentation if you want. Yes, feel free to reach out to us. We will make sure we inform you every step of the way that involves activity on your end. And we will also make sure that the relationships we have are remaining the same. As you can see, your contact persons are still in place. and we will make sure to introduce you to who they are and what. But basically, Marcella remains in the picture, so nothing changes for you if you already collaborate with Q Apartments. Good. Then I would say thank you to everybody again, and wishing you a very happy rest of the week. We will be doing those webinars for other regions as well. And any of your feedback is valuable to us, especially because this will be a process and we will be adding more and more information, maybe go back to another webinar as well in the future to give you certain updates on the product features we're implementing, for example. Good.
Thank you
very
so much, guys.
Have a nice day.